Hey, what's up guys, Angelson here, bringing you a match on Floodplain. This will be a replay commentary, and my opponent is another 10-star general named Fritz. And I looked up his stats for the battle, and his stats are pretty close to mine, so hopefully this was a fairly even match. I'm going to put this in slow motion so I can go over army comp. And because this is a map that's particularly good for, rush style playing, and it's not really friendly for archer units, I decided not to bring any archers. I have two pretty decent upgraded Matchlock Warrior Monks. I have two Yari Ashigaru right behind them. I also have two Katana Sams, two Nodachi, and a Naginata Warrior Monk. Now up here hiding in this forest I have a Katana Cav, I have two Yari Cavs, and I have two Great Guard. And you look at my opponent's army, he has a really strong infantry corps. So it looks like his front is 5 Katana Samurais, and directly in front of them as well he has some Yari Ashigaru. I guess they're just kind of a meat shield unit. Now, any player worth his grain of salt is going to, target select with his matchlocks and his bows anyways, so that really doesn't matter. But he also has 4 lone swords back here, so that's 9 infantry components. That's a pretty tough army. He also has 1 Matchlock Warrior Monk, not quite as upgraded as mine. It doesn't have the accuracy upgrades. And over here you can see he has some Bow Cav with 2 Yari Cav. And even though these Bow Cav are well veteran, they don't have any upgrades it looks like. Same thing with his Great Guard and these 2 Yari Cav, they're both vanilla. I think the only vanilla Cav unit I have are my Yari Cav. So my plan of attack here was to get my main army situated in this nice big forest where they have concealment, while I maneuvered out for a Cav battle. I didn't want to try to do a quick engagement because he could honestly just overwhelm me with his infantry. And right here you see I've got my Yari Cav chasing his bow Cav actually. And one of them I actually have selected and I'm ready to countercharge with, and let the other one continue to chase the bow Cav. Now that was probably a bad move on my part. What I should have done was just ignore the bow Cav. It wouldn't have done enough damage, in the time it would have taken me to clear out these 2 Yari Cavs, and then I could have easily chased them down. But for some reason I just decided to push on over there and chase them. And over here you can see I have my Great Guard, and I'm trying to engage his 2 vanilla Great Guard units over here, but he does have spear support close by, which I'm fine with because this guy has so many spears over here. I actually want him to pull him away from his army, and that way I can bring my Katana Cav I have hidden up here to engage all these sword units. Spears are not good for Katana Cav, but just sword units are fine. So I managed to get his Great Guard out here in the open. I don't really get any particularly good charge bonuses, but I do have the upper hand. And right now I'm just trying to engage him as long as possible, and when his spears start to get close, I'll select both my Great Guard units and pull them down. And a lot of times what happens when you do that is it drags the enemy Cav with you. So it's just a good, easy way to get away from spears, which you have to get really familiar doing if you're going to do early Cav action close to your enemy's army. And here I actually took what was left of my Yari Cav and tried to hit his matchlocks, which they actually did a really good charge. He's at 37 out of 60 units now. And over here I'm attacking his general with my Great Guard. And I wiped those guys down to, I believe, 13 units before I decided to try and fight off the rest of his Yari Cav, which is going to be a short battle. But you have to be really careful with my micro because he does have 2 spear units closing in on my Great Guards now. As well, since I've seen that he pulled all of his spears away from his main army, I'm going to go ahead and send my Katana Cav in, which Katana Cav are excellent for fighting ground, sword units. So see how fast these guys burn down. It was a pretty good attack right there. Down to 87 out of 120 units, and I only lost 10 Katana Cav. And back here, I managed to get my Great Guard free, take out his Yari Cav, and go in for a quick general kill. and now I just have to worry about these match locks. I think I actually lose one of these units charging these match locks, but I was expecting one of them to get through, which it manages to do. And now he decides to rush me with his army. Now, since he had such a big infantry corps, he probably shouldn't have taken his time, messing around with all the cav micro, because I honestly had the upper hand in cav battle. He probably should have pushed, fairly early on to engage me, because he could have overwhelmed me with these 9 sword units. Even with my matchlocks, it would have been a pretty tough battle, I think. So you can see here I did push my Yari Ashigaru forward and spear wall, and since my matchlocks have really good accuracy, it's at 85 right now with stand and fight, they're, it's cheesy, but they're actually able to, very easily shoot through my own units. And how do I feel about it? I don't like it. I honestly don't. I wish they would change the morale penalties to inflict, those penalties on friendly units. But I'm not going to, how do I put this, not do it until they do fix it. I'll be happy when they do. But until then, I'm going to play with my matchlocks that way. I do try to keep them on my front lines as long as possible. But, what can you do? Until CA decides to patch the game, not really anything. But fairly quick battle, played fairly decent, and against a pretty much even opponent. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the stats.